agree with that sentiment that the former president has exacted his revenge, whatever it is that he was revenging, but it has been sweet revenge on his part against the ANC?
Yeah, you can say that. But look, the biggest issue for us was much less about the new party that he established. The issue for us was the role of capital against the ANC and how it engineered every other significant fall of the ANC, which today the media has forgotten about it. When the so-called moonshot was established, which later on became the Pact for South Africa, or the Charter for South Africa, with the support which was not exposed from international capital, from the European Union, from the White House in America.
Who exactly were they funding?
I'm sorry?
Who exactly were they funding?
These parties, they engineered these parties. The Brandes Foundation taking the leaders that we paraded here as analysts for the elections from the same process to unseat the ANC, which came out in the name of the Moonshot Pact in the political discourse with the sole aim of removing the ANC from political power. That is the critical area. That was the foundation. That's the reason, the main reason. Of course, the other question is the conditions of the workers on the ground, the people, the working class on the ground, and how they express themselves through the electoral process. But the core was engineered by international capital, working with monopoly capital here in South Africa, with the DA as its prime expression, coordinating other parties. And we have said you can do it even today. Even now you can Google, for instance, the IEC political party funding, the fourth quarter, just alone the fourth quarter, and see who was prominently funding these new parties, whether it's your Rising Zanzis, the IFP itself. To see the role of the others are strategically our enemy. These ones we can deal with, there are no problem. Do you think we can allow corruption to continue under our watch if we take over, whether MK Party has brought a person or not?
Mr. Mapaila, it has happened.
No, under different conditions, not under our watch now. We have launched a state commission to deal with allegations of corruption and so forth. So that framework is the one that guided us, leading to President Zuma leaving office.
I wonder.
Now, we're not even talking about, in this case, we're talking about his party that he has established.
I wonder how this is likely to sit with you. The Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, Pakstow, was in Washington recently, and part of the sentiment there, I was talking to a business person who was part of that trip, was that the GNU is so well received in America that, in fact, they are happy for AGOA to be continued.
Colin, does
that worry you?
No, I just expressed to you the GNU is a consequence of capital machination. This was stage 2 of the failure of the moonshot to dislodge the ANC. When they failed, they still needed this country because they made profit out of this country. That's the point. So it doesn't surprise us.
How does that affect your relationship, therefore, with those that are leading this government of national unity? Because you made statements at the political school, the Nehal Political School, that the ones who are neoliberal within the ANC are the ones who did not listen, and they clearly seem to have the upper hand, and that's why they would rather go into government with the strategic enemies of the alliance. Who are those people?
No, it's a clear thing. I mean, the choice is the choice of the ANC. Okay, it's a collective choice of the ANC. But take, for instance, Minister of Finance, and with due respect, it's my senior comrade. This, when he was sworn in, the first hour after he sworn in this first interview, I listened to him. He says he wants to say to everybody, I quote him, fiscal consolidation is here to stay. Close quote. This is what he says. First interview after taking office. You know what is fiscal consolidation? These austerity measures. This is budget cuts. This is cuts for social spending for the poor people. Now, how do you think we can sustain a revolution in that form? Because that's why we needed to debate this question about the role of finance and finance capital in South Africa. the role of micro strategy as well as fiscal strategy for the country, so that we are able to respond to the needs of the people rather than to the needs of capital. Over these decades, our capitalist economy here, presided over even by African leadership, has been serving largely the interest of capital. So that's what the problem is. That's why Washington will welcome this thing.
Finally, on Sunday, the SACP is going to be celebrating. In fact, you are going to hold a rally. Today, though, you are celebrating the 103 years of existence. I'd like to ask one pertinent question. The ANC-led tripartite alliance, is it still serving its purpose? Is it still a relevant?
Yeah, this is a tight question. We get it all the time. Critics of the party like this question. The real issue is that, yes, it is, because we've not achieved yet our objectives to transform this country into a prosperous country, united democracy, its people united, non-racial, non-sexist. We have not achieved those objectives that are encoded partly in our constitution. So to that extent, you still need a movement that is as wide as possible, that can reach to all sections of society to drive this particular agenda. But to the extent that that agenda itself has been hijacked by a variety of forces, in this case, for instance, by force of the GNU, in fact, by force of capital in the GNU, as well as other forces, we have to strengthen the alliance and remain vigilant and fight from inside and outside of the alliance for the transformation agenda of our country to take shape. In terms of the relevance of the alliance itself, one of the critical elements of this alliance, which is not so easy, and I don't know why political analysts like yourself, or not analysts, journalists like yourself and other senior people in the media space don't explain this thing all the time. The concept of the alliance is based on dual membership, where the cross membership of these parties can be sustained. That's why I'm a leader of a political party in my own right, but I'm a member of the ANC in my own right. But if another party, another member belongs to another party, is not allowed to join the African National Congress at the moment. If it goes on, and it can change, but at the moment, that's the framework. And because this relationship was forged in struggle against monopoly capital on behalf of European colonialism and imperialism. So that's the basis why this trend is not, this relationship is not so easy to end just because it's wanted by, for convenience sake, by other forces.
Well, there are those who are already writing opinion pieces, and these are academics.
They started many years ago.
And they're saying that right now, what has happened to the ANC is that it has stopped being that broad church. Instead, it is now cleaning itself so that it becomes, I guess, some monolithic structure. But that's a conversation for another day. Thank you very much for your time. So